Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I am really excited today. I am chatting to Amy Stuart, who is one of my Reiki students, and she's just going to jump on now. So she recently graduated from her mastership with me, and I'm just so excited to chat to her and share with all of you her journey, the incredible work that she does now as well with others. Um, so she's gonna jump on. Yay! There you are.
Hello.
Hello. Fresh out of the cold dip that you've just done.
Yeah, the ice bath.
The
Oh,
ice bath.
I'm still
Can you
trying to
tell
warm
us?
myself back up.
Are you? It's actually really cold in Melbourne today as well. Um, can you tell us a little bit about why you're doing all these things? I'm just
Okay,
going
so
to jump into it.
I'm actually a bodybuilder. So I am jumping on stage for a debut in about 6 and 8 weeks. So in Melbourne for the state titles, and then national will be 2 weeks later. So the final kind of six weeks, which sounds like a long time, but I think it's like 40 something days. So it just, yeah, really quick. So
It's amazing. So I'm going to get back into all of that in a moment, but we're here today just to chat a little bit more about your introduce the work that you're doing as well as your bodybuilding journey and that kind of stuff. But and I love, we're also going to touch on how that has also helped your Reiki and vice versa and all of the things, because it's really unusual, I think, to think about bodybuilding and Reiki together. And until I met you, I probably would have thought the same thing. But
we're not
but I
all
can't.
hippies. We're not all hippies. Put it that way.
That's right. But I'm going to get you to start off just introducing yourself, Amy, and a little bit about who you are, what you do, and the work that you do as well.
Okay, so I'm a mind body coach. That's what I call myself. So currently I have so many different tools in my belt at the moment. So personal trainer, also do performance nutrition. We've got Reiki, we've got NLP, we've got positive psychology, we've got kinesiology in there. So it's a bit of everything in this mixed bag of offerings. So that's my business, and then I also have a full-time job as well on top of that. So in insurance, so it's complete opposite. And then on top of that, I also bodybuild. So a lot goes on in a day for me.
Yes, you are one of the busiest people that I know. That's for sure. So let's talk now a little bit about your Reiki journey. So I think you did your level 1. Was it last year or 2 years ago? No, 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 because it was in lockdown.
Yeah. So it was
So I think we've
2020,
all lost
wasn't it?
track. Yeah, we've all lost track of time
Yeah.
with lockdowns, but yeah, 20. Yeah, it must have been 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that and we talked about this the other week, how when you first learnt Reiki, you knew I was going to talk about this, but I love it. I love it. Tell everyone what you thought of Reiki when you first learnt Reiki.
I'm going to apologize because I swear a lot. So, so I grew up with a mum who was like a kinesiologist, and she was into crystals. So I grew up in her, obviously, like a holistic environment. But my uncle was a Reiki master, and I remember him like doing Reiki on people and talking about it, and I was like, oh, fuck off. Like, there's no way in hell that waving your hands in the air and like doing all this stuff is like gonna help. Like, I was so fucking skeptical about it, and I was just like, what? And then for some reason in COVID, I was drawn to do a complete 180 of my life. And I remember doing NLP and then being like, no, I think I want to do this. And then I remember seeing you on a live with, I think it was Lola Berry or something, and being like, oh, and just feeling this really big calling to kind of learn Reiki. And it was more for my clients. I never ever thought it'd be the biggest personal growth journey of my life. Like on another fucking level. Like nuts. And I remember doing my level 1, and I remember like obviously getting the attunement and going doing my self-healing and feeling like my hands were just like full of energy and vibration and being like, what the fuck? Like crazy.
It's amazing, amazing. And it's so funny you bring up the self-healing, because you started your mastership with me about, I think it was like 7 months ago now, 7, 8 months ago, probably.
Yeah.
And I remember when you came in and you said to me, I am just telling you, I'm so busy. I've got my job, I'm doing this business, I'm a bodybuilder, which, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, I didn't realize how much work's involved in bodybuilding, but you're an athlete. You're an athlete. And so you're doing that a lot. You're very busy. And you just said to me, you were like, I'm also doing another course. I don't really have time for self Reiki. I don't have time. Yeah, I know you're laughing now because you're like, what the fuck was I? Who was I back then? Who was I?
Well, I think I remember you saying this one comment to me and being like, I think I asked you to repeat some of the symbols and you're like, Amy, you need to write this down. Like, you need to get your shit together. And I was like, oh, I haven't been doing this right. And I think we then decided that it was like it needed to be done every day and without question, and I needed to treat it like it was my training. Like that, yeah, that big moment of, come on, Amy, like, fuck, get it together. So,
Yeah, because you're someone who is so dedicated to the mental health, the mindset, and also the body health, obviously. And I know for you doing the mastership, it was like exactly what you needed in terms of, I'm so focused on the mind and body. This is like the next thing that I'm missing out on, and I have to work. I need to give the energy body just as much as I give to my mental and my physical body. And yeah, it's amazing. So talk about a little bit about some of the, I guess, some of the changes that's had and what you've experienced after doing that.
so it's just been like from where I had started, and I mean, my history is also like I've had PTSD, and I use the term had because it's past tense. I don't give it power in my life now, but I remember being just running from life, you know, that fight or flight response, and being in it for so long and just having this big kind of shield up of like letting no one in or needing to have complete control of every little thing that was happening. And it was Reiki that allowed me to kind of, I don't know, get back in the moment, get present, and just be able to kind of start to flow with life where it needed to flow. And I know we had so many things where I think every week I would come in and be like, fuck, Loretta, like, oh my God, like this happened and this happened. But it allowed me to kind of learn to flow. And now when something happens, old Amy would have just flipped a switch where I just like laugh it off and I just kind of get to it. But it's also allowed me to get a lot softer and be able to have that vulnerability with stuff. So that's probably one personal thing. In relation to my business, it allows me to connect in with clients so much quicker. Like when I'm trying to understand what's going on underneath that surface, it's not having to rely on the client so much to tell me what's going on. Do you know what I mean? It takes hours out of the work because I can literally connect in with Reiki and know what's going on from here before they've even had any idea what's going on. Do you know what I mean? You kind of feel like from a coaching perspective, you're 5 hours ahead of where they are or how many hours you would need to find out what you kind of found out. So amazing. That's the business. And then from the bodybuilding stuff, it allows me to kind of, like in the ice bath this morning, like I Reiki, like I literally like go into another thing and like concentrate elsewhere, and it allows me to kind of connect in. So And even, yeah, just with everyday life, it's just so much better, and I'm a whole better human and soul because of it.
That's amazing. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But it allows it allows this connection, and I think I was thinking about it this morning in the last few days. Reiki allows not only me, but also you see it in the clients and you see it in different people. It allows them to connect with what their soul was meant to do so much more quicker. It's that real alignment of soul.
I love that. That's such a beautiful explanation of it. It's an alignment of soul. I love it. It's beautiful. Yeah, and it's so true. It's really, really true. I think definitely I can see how, you know, for me, watching your journey from, I mean, level one right through your mastership, which you just graduated from recently, that softening that you talk about, wow, like seeing you from the, you know, the first moment in your mastership, like, oh, I'm just telling you, like, I basically, you were saying to me, my life is so structured and I'm so in control of it, right, that I don't have time for anything else or anything to just flow. Like, I am not open to any of that shit. And I loved how you literally softened each week more and more and more. And it was just watching you open up to experience the joy of life and the flow of life and universe's support for you and messages, like you being able just to be open to all of that stuff and the shifts and changes, and just so beautiful because you can have this life where you have a lot on and you are busy, and yes, you need somewhat control and all of that sort of stuff and structure, and all that stuff is really good. I mean, this is the masculine, right, that we're talking about. We need all of that. But there is actually something just so beautiful and so powerful about allowing the more of the feminine and the softness to come through. Um, and when we fall into that, you know, there is this real beauty in being able to open up to life's little surprises, right? And that's what it really allows us to do. And connecting to yourself energetically on a daily basis. Like, I remember, yeah, so many beautiful experiences that you shared with me, and just amazing. You don't get any of that if you're really closed off to, yeah, closing off to it, which is so nice. And I love how you explain the I want to talk about this a little bit more, but obviously you're a mind body coach, so you work a lot with people who are on their mental health, but also on their physical bodies, and coaching people through that stuff. And I love, straight out, like, very often people are coming to you for physical goals that they want to obtain, but they're not often thinking about the energetics or anything like that. And I love that you just, how you bring it into your sessions with your clients as well. Maybe they're not necessarily aware that right now I'm connecting with your energy and I'm like intuitively allowing myself to flow and to just connect with you and channel what is needing to come through. But that's exactly what you're doing, right? Like, it's exactly how you're showing up for your clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's so interesting, like, seeing so many people from like a coaching perspective. And I mean, I do meal plans all the way up to like healings, but it's so interesting because so many people have so many blockages. And I know we've spoken about, really what I'm doing is helping people shift identities from what they are currently at to what their desired identity is, but also what their soul aligned identity is. And it's so interesting that the amount of energetic shifts and how that reflects to weight and body. And it's really cool to like have this thing where like people are like, I can't lose weight or I can't do this. And it's like, well, there's so much more to it that's a lot of people are missing. Like, are you okay with being seen? Like, because if you're not okay with being seen or people looking at you, well, why are you going to shift the weight? Why? Because you're not aligned with it at all. And I know with my own journey, it's like, this is the second big kind of weight loss and stuff that I've experienced. And that first one never fucking held because I wasn't aligned with any of it. And for me to be where I am now, the identity shift that's had to occur is on another level. Like, for me, like, and I think people, I am such a tomboy, as in I would never wear a fucking dress growing up as a kid. Like, my mum has a picture of me, like, in my preschool, and she put me in a dress. And I had this look of, like, absolute, like, death and kill on my face and, like, the photo, like, the professional photo, she's still got it. So for me to be going down this path of bodybuilding where I have to get up on stage in a bikini and we're talking diamante heels, like, it's just like, what the hell? So I've really had to shift my identity to hold strong in that. And it allows me to kind of, be who I am and achieve these goals. But a lot of people, like, they go down this weight loss path and it never ever sticks because they haven't done the spiritual work or the emotional stuff, or what's actually stopping you, what's the self-sabotaging, like, and they'll get to a point where they'll drop the 20 kilos but it won't hold because energetically they haven't held it. And even from a body perspective, like, we know homeostasis, like, you actually need to reset where the body sits from, like, a health perspective, otherwise it just won't hold. Amazing. But it's none of these things that are spoken about in, like, a fitnessy type health all combined kind of space. So that's really where, like, I sit.
Yeah, I think, you know, what I'm hearing as well, which is so beautiful that you're bringing this up, is very often the focus is on the goal, right? It's like on the end goal. Like, I want to lose this, I want to lift this, or, you know, whatever it might be. But there is so much work that has to go into actually being able to achieve it. And like you said, being able to hold it, because we can achieve goals and then lose it, right? And whether that be financial or physical or emotional or through relationships, whatever it might be. But you're very much talking about, it's about the person that you become on the way there. It's the identity. That is the identity shift, right? Which is so awesome, because when you finally reach your goal, like, I know for you, because I've been here watching you through this journey of bodybuilding and going up on that stage, it's not even about going up on stage, is it? Like, it's not, right? It's not even that. It's about who you've had to become to actually get there. I mean, it's going to be fucking awesome when you go up on there and you're like, oh my God, I did it. But yeah, it's being able to look back at every single moment on that journey and how you've shifted and become who you needed to become.
And it's also awesome. It's also about kind of just going for what, like, is the best. As in, like, for me, like, keep leveling up. And I know, like, I think years ago I said I want to be Amy 2.0, so we kind of did that, and it's like it continues to do. But the thing about bodybuilding is it's like this such a personal, like, journey of, like, you're the one that can only hold you accountable for your goals. As in, like, no one else gives a fuck if you're in the gym doing your sessions. No one else gives a fuck if you get your step count. Like, it's on you. Your coach can only do so much, but in the end, it's actually on you.
Which is exactly the same as Reiki, right? It's on you. It's absolutely on you. So when you showed up and you said, well, I don't have time to do self-healing, and I was like, well, if you want to do this and you want to do it well and you want to get any results, like, you're the one who's going to have to do the work. Yeah, because there's only so much I can do.
And as soon as we started adding it in, like, it was like, okay, I think it went to 10 minutes a day minimum Reiki needed to get done. And that became something like the same as my training or my step count. Like, it just needs to be done no matter what. Like, if I'm feeling like I just want to go to bed, or, like, it doesn't matter. It just needs to get done. Like, and that's the approach that we both kind of took in a way.
Something that I find so inspiring about you is this, like, just no frills, no excuses kind of approach. You are just so dedicated. You talked about this goal of being Amy 2.0, and it's like, and I know that you've been through so much. You had experienced so much trauma, so much of that stuff, and to, for someone who didn't know that and didn't know that about you, it wouldn't probably appeal as inspirational. But having, understood all of that about you, and now being able to see the way that you show up with the level of commitment and consistency to truly being your best. And I know, like, there's a massive focus on the physical of who you are, but like we've just talked about, it is just so much more for you to be able to show up in the physical and to achieve those physical goals. It's taking so much more of, the other parts of who you are, to shift. And your commitment just is so inspirational, Amy. Can you talk a little bit about, because it is unusual. Like, a lot of people don't have this kind of commitment. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go to the gym 3 days or whatever, or not even. And sometimes might work out, sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll do a Reiki, sometimes I won't. Who cares? I'll just see how I feel. I'll eat that, won't eat that. Like, most of us just live our lives that way, right?
Yeah.
But for you to be so committed, it's something that, I find so fucking fascinating. I'd love you to talk a little bit more about, I guess,
A day in the life of.
Like, what drives that? Like, where do you get that from? And, like, on those days where you're like, I don't feel like doing my Reiki, or I don't feel like, I just want to eat a muffin or something. Like, what happens there?
I think like, my definite no bullshit approach is something that I live by, and my bodybuilding coach is also a great, like, inspiration for that, because he's very much no bullshit. But for me, like, when people say to me, I don't have time, like, they throw out excuses, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, here's my schedule. 4:15, I am up every day, 6 days a week, 4:15 up. It's like an hour of cardio to get about 10,000 steps in, because I sit at the desk for so long. And then it's like strength training for 2.5 hours until 8 o'clock, where I rush in, I sit at my desk, I work my full-time job till 4. I then literally spin around, and I've got clients from 4:30 to 7:30 at night. And then I literally go in, eat, like, have a shower, get ready for bed, and then I'm in bed by 8:39, and then that 10 minutes of Reiki needs to get done. And then on top of that, I've got to find time to do posing for my bodybuilding, and then, like, on a Sunday, today's ice baths, and then I've got to find time during the week to do a sauna. So, like, it's full on, like, from 4:15 to 9:30 at night. Like, it's, everything is happening. Like, and my parents, because I obviously live at home now, they're just like they just can't, like, or I'm just eating, like, they just see me, like, running around. So yeah, it's, I guess for me, like, I guess I just want the best for me. And I think what I notice in myself, and also clients who they start with meal plans, and, like, everything gets weighed to the gram. So I haven't had a meal off plan for over 12 months. Like, everything gets weighed to the gram. But the interesting thing is, once clients realize kind of the eating benefits and having that, not control, but that accountability for what goes in and what they eat, and their energy levels start to improve, and they start, like, wanting the best for them, and then they start to shift. And so it really, the food part of it, it's so big. Like, that discipline of just being able to say, I want the fucking chocolate bar. And as soon as you detox out of that stuff, you actually don't want it.
Yeah. I think when you just said, I just want the best for myself. Like, whoa, I just felt every word of that. And coming back to everything that you've been through, like, whoa, wow. Like, Amy, that's amazing, because there was a time where you didn't want the best for yourself, right?
No.
There was a time where, no, there was a time where you didn't feel like you were worthy of anything that was the best, you know?
No.
And now I can see, like, you're just such a beautiful example of how getting to hitting that rock bottom, you know, hitting the worst of it, can really help push us higher and make us really, you know,
especially when you hit it a couple of times during your life. So, but it definitely, those moments allow you to kind of pivot, and because of the experience of the trauma and the PTSD and depression and then pneumonia and all this stuff that were really key moments, it allows me to be a better coach, and it allows me to be a better soul, because like I know a lot of people, like, they feel like they get to that top of like, I think we had this conversation, the two mountains, and a lot of people, they climb the first mountain and they get to the top and they think, oh, is this what I want? Or, do you know what I mean? They're in marriages or they're in relationships or in jobs where they think, like, this is normal or this is it, and it takes them that moment of being like, nah. And then they go down into the gully, and it's shit down there. Like, the gully's not a great place. Like, you're really fucking doing soul mission stuff down there and trying to pull yourself out. But that second mountain that you can climb, like, is just something in which, if you're willing to put in the work and to kind of be in the fear, because I know we've spoken about that as well, like the amount of moments that I've had these fear moments, and I'm like, and it's like, don't panic. Like, there's a reason for them. Trust the journey and trust that second mountain. And yeah, it's exciting. Like, with the PTSD, I lost years of my life, and I know I've had conversations with clients that they don't actually realize that the longer they stay in that trauma and that fight or flight mode, the moments and the times of your life that you kind of lose, and it's just not worth it. Really?
No, absolutely not. How beautiful now to be on that other side of all that and be able to see that, wow, like, how different, like, just how different your life is, you know, where you literally have so much, you know, when I talked about that commitment that you have in dedication to living your best life, because that's really what you're doing. You are an example of someone who is really on that trajectory, like, I'm fucking living my best life. And what it is you live your life with intention. Everything that you do is living your life with intention. And I know that this is even down to the relationships that you have in your life, because, you know, we've talked a lot about stuff like that. Like, we've worked through a lot of those things during your mastership, in terms of this person, you know, how that's triggering you, or how this person was, what role do they play in your life, and all those sorts of things. And I know, like, yeah, honestly, you the way that you show up in your day-to-day, and the way that you show up for your life that's the best way to explain it, is that you live each day with absolute intention, and your intention is, I want the best for myself.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people kind of push their best to themselves, or that thing to the side, like, they don't think that they deserve anything better, and they don't put the time into what they do. And one of the main things that I see with so many people is this people pleasing. Like, and it's something in which clients always, and when you're on a meal plan or whatever, it's very interesting to see people that when you try and shift your identity, they'll either pull you back or they'll be on board. Like, it's this really interesting thing. And one of my tricks I'm telling clients is, remember the old Dolly magazines where you literally go down and you'd be like, yes or no? So it's like these two questions, like, does this person that wants me to hang out with them or wants me to do something, do they align with my identity and my soul mission? And if it's a no. Well, it's like, well, why the fuck are you hanging? Like, why? Like, why the fuck are you wasting your time? And then if it's a yes, well, you can go on to the next thing. And then the next box is like, does that person light me up when I leave, like, the meeting or whatever? Or do they not? Like, and then if it's a yes, well, then you, like, say, well, do I have time to actually go spend with this person? So it's that really, like, I don't want to hang out with a person who drains me or is not on board with my life or doesn't feel supportive. Like, but people are very, like, struggle to let go of dead weight. Like, but when they're doing this identity shift, and it's called, you know, that elastic band effect, that, like, a lot of us with the elastic band will, like, move to the past, and the past will kind of hold us because we're so connected to the elastic band. So it's creating this elastic band of, like, who we want to be, like, what we want to feel like, what we want to look like, who we want to hang out with. And if these people aren't here, well, fuck them off. Like, I'm so blunt, and it probably rubs people up the wrong way, but okay. Like,
I love it. I love it.
the people pleasing, like,
yeah,
in society and all these, like, social medias, and I think we've got this identity crisis, and it's starting at such a young age all the way through life because they're seeing everything on Instagram and social media, and no one knows how to be who they are because it's like they want to be that person on Instagram or that person. But I know we've had, like, this conversation of, like, everything you see on Instagram probably fucking bullshit. Like,
yeah.
do you know, like, and I think it's like you'll see people or do something and you know that that's not fucking true. You're like, you're fucked. Like, just be yourself. And if people are on board, well, that's who's meant to be in your tribe. But if they're not, well, no. That's a no from me.
Because there's the right people are there waiting for you, right, to step into alignment. And yeah, it's so beautiful. So much of your life has shifted since you've stood in alignment and, you know, really following that path. And yeah, it's the same for everybody. As soon as we stop saying yes to the stuff that doesn't align, like, everything changes. Everything changes in your whole life. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. Oh, Amy, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story and sharing all the amazing work that you're doing with people as well. You're not taking clients at the moment, are you?
No, because I've put on pause because obviously with my food going down and everything, like, my energy, it's okay, but it's just not where, for me, I need to show up 150% for my clients. So everything, all the clients that I've got are obviously, like, they're still rotating over, but I'm not taking any new ones. But June is the big thing. So, like, Wholehearted Muscle will be taking on more clients for the meal plans and the nutrition and mindset coaching once a week in group. And then we do individual ones, and then Wholehearted Healings, the Reiki. But then if people want to work one-on-one with me, then that's obviously a whole different offering. But there's so much exciting things coming from me in the future. But for the next 6 to 8 weeks, it's kind of like comp mode.
Yeah, amazing. You're taking the time that you need. I love it. I love it. Again, just living with intention. Yeah, it's so good. And so you offer, so for anyone who wants to work with you one-on-one, you offer in-person sessions, or you're also online, aren't you? But
yeah,
you
most of mine are online.
Yeah, amazing. Amy, I'm going to tag you in this as well so people can follow you and jump on. And please follow Amy if you're looking for someone who is inspirational and also sharing so much good wisdom and inspiration with her own journey, but also for her clients as well. Thank you so much, Amy. And I love working with you.
I know, I do as well. I needed you still on the team, so I kept you on board as a coach. And I think people need I think that's the other big thing is you need coaches and you need people that kind of pull you to level up. And I mean, I have a business coach and Loretta, that's like Loretta, and then I have a bodybuilding coach and then I have a posing coach. So the value you get out of coaches, you get back in so many other ways. So yeah.
So true. So true. I love you and have a
I love you
beautiful
too.
rest day.
I will. I'm enjoying not having to lift weights today, especially after with 2 twisted body parts this week. So
Oh.
yeah, it's good.
All right. Enjoy. Take it
See you
easy.
guys.
Speak to you soon.
See ya. Bye.